Well, ladies and gentlemen, they've done it. They've released the first batch of the UFO files, and we're going to take a look at how tantalizing and scandalous and groundbreaking the files truly are. And we're going to be taking a look at, are we on the verge of another COVID-style pandemic with a recent outbreak on a cruise ship that has since taken the lives of 3 people? We're also going to be taking a look at some words from David A. Bednar that are mega-based, and I hope are what are going to set the precedence for if there were another COVID-style lockdown attempt from our nation's leaders. All this and more. My name is Jackson Wayne Paul, and welcome to Latter Daily Saints.
What power shall stay the heavens from pouring down knowledge from heaven upon the heads of the Latter-day Saints?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Latter Daily Saints, or welcome for the first time on this beautiful Friday. You chose hopefully a good episode to be your first to tune into Latter Daily Saints. Basically what this is a news and pop culture commentary show made by Latter-day Saints for Latter-day Saints, but visitors are welcome. And we have a visitor in the studio today, and his name is Brando.
Russin. What's up, guys?
Welcome to the studio, Brando. It's always good to have you. As a guest, some would say more permanent guest, but guest nonetheless.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And so, yeah, we're grateful. And the last video that we talked about how over 55% of you that watch this show regularly are not subscribed. Then we bumped that down to 40%.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. A lot of people
15%.
heeded the call. So please, if you watch regularly, just go ahead and hit that button. It helps it get it out to more people.
Let's get it to 100%. 100% unsubscribed.
Let's do it. And before we get into the madness of the UFO files, we want to remind you of the Stick of Judah lecture series that we're doing on the Old Testament every month this year during Come Follow Me Old Testament. And Dave Butler is going to be hosting Val Larson on May 14th at 7 p.m. on Provost Center Street, talking all about the first great apostasy and the Deuteronomists, a subject that is pretty foundational to understanding what lens we need to be reading the Old Testament through, and it brings a whole lot more light and understanding to the text. And so I would highly recommend stopping by. We're all going to be there. We'd love to spend time with you, and hope to see you next week.
Link in the description.
Link in the description on how to get there. But ladies and gentlemen, we covered this the other day, but it was alluded that a big disclosure was going to be happening with UAPs and UFO files and all the above. And we have got our first batch, ladies and gentlemen. How exciting. And how
the UFO files.
How important. Kind of. All right, go to the main page. So if you go to the website war.gov, okay, this is what you're going to stumble upon, okay? It's going to show you some still images. You're like, whoa, what is that? Like a military thing zooming in on a ball. Oh, what's that? Oh, that doesn't look like anything. And then it says, Donald J. Trump, this is a post from Truth Social. He says, based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life. All right, so first off, based on that first phrase, based on the tremendous interest shown. So I guess all it takes is just showing a tremendous amount of interest to then get the President of the United States to then put basically an executive order out to these departments to dedicate a whole heck of a lot of amount of time to going and searching up these files, then releasing to the public, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like when Dr. Pepper wants to release a new flavor, they do it because there's a tremendous amount of interest shown.
Exactly.
That's the only reason why they do it.
And not that there's ever been a tremendous amount of interest into who was Thomas Crooks, the guy that tried to commit an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. We still know nothing about him. I feel like there's a tremendous amount of interest to see who the redacted names of these co-conspirators of pedophilia in the Epstein files are, but I don't know. I guess there's just not enough interest.
Yeah.
There was enough interest to get these UFO files. And if you look at that picture right there, that is a photograph right there.
Oh,
that is a photograph right
what? There. Bro, that looks like it was made in Microsoft Paint. something.
No, it's real. It's a photograph.
No shot.
That's what they're claiming it is. So
this
anyways,
looks photoshopped. Like
no,
clip
it's
art,
real.
bro. Okay, well, I
no,
guess.
pay attention to this, Brandon. Don't pay attention to anything else that's going on.
Okay,
but anyways,
I will.
So if you then zoom out a little bit and then scroll down. So this is still on the main page. They've made it. I like how they've made it very, sci-fi type.
Yeah.
The font is all mysterious.
It's like in a movie with the government, and they're like, pull this up on your computer, and the guy starts typing really fast on his government computer. This is what it looks like.
Yeah, and so basically it's just saying, in response to Donald J. Trump's directives, we're dedicating a whole lot of time to gathering these and releasing them. So it says, but one thing that's interesting, if you scroll down there, it says, this is an unprecedented historic undertaking that requires coordination between dozens of agencies and the review of tens of millions of records, many existing only on paper, spanning many decades. Okay. So
we should be really excited about this.
Exactly.
All right.
So scroll down here and let's see how groundbreaking this first, let's just click on the first file. Let's just dive right in.
I was not kidding about that.
File section 1. All right. It says, this is the FBI's case file, eyewitness testimonies, and any public reports concerning unidentified flying objects and flying discs documented between June 1947 and July 1968. Okay, let's click it. This better be groundbreaking. All right. This is looking.
Hey, we got some files here.
Cool. Scroll down here. Let's see.
Very old
Get
looking
any
files.
pictures here?
Ancient history.
Oh, we got a manila
orange
folder.
manila folder.
Nice. Oh, some newspaper clippings
sometimes
from flying saucers. And then tracked by radar. Got some witness testimonies.
Aliens right here.
And then scroll down, zoom in on those pictures. Let's see. What is the description underneath that? Let me read. It says, new saucer photos. These remarkable photos of flying saucers were taken by Dr. Daniel Fry, president of Understanding Inc. Your editor enlarged them from the original 16mm color movie film. Spots on the photos are due to the extreme enlargement of scratches and dust spots on the film. So, this was taken in Joshua Tree, California.
Wow.
And these are allegedly real. Wow.
And they're in official government files claiming to be real.
Exactly.
All right.
Very tantalizing.
All right.
So I guess now we have that. I don't even know what to say. Okay.
What do you think in the comments?
Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think in the comments, okay? Is this what you were hoping for, right? Now, granted, this is just one file, but this is kind of the gist of what we're getting here. But they do have a myriad of different videos, and a lot of them basically just look like this. So this video, if you scroll or zoom in there, I can't read super well. All right. It says, the United States Central Command submitted.
Hold up.
You're doing a great job, Brando.
Thank you.
I have great patience. Okay, it's good right there. The United States Central Command submitted a report of an unidentified anomalous phenomenon to the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. Oh, I didn't know that. They have an all-domain anomaly resolution office. Interesting.
Okay.
Consisting of 1 minute and 5 seconds of video footage captured via multiple sensor modalities aboard a U.S. military platform in 2024. An accompanying mission report, blah, blah, blah. It's moving approximately 434 knots. Okay, so it's 1 minute and 10 seconds. Let's take a look at this video.
All right.
Let's see what we got here.
You see that on the right?
Oh, there it goes. All right, it's moving. It's moving. All right, now what I'll say is just pause it here because we just have 40 more seconds of just that.
Of just that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, mind you, if you're interested, there's a few dozen videos of some spheres on some infrared cameras just moving slowly. Sometimes they make a 90-degree turn, but other times they're just moving. So,
I mean, it is interesting.
It is
it's
interesting.
abnormal, but to me, I'm asking the question, why if aliens were coming to visit here, why are they just flying in erratic patterns around the sky? To observe us, maybe.
It is a big question, right? And so, like we covered the other day when the Christian pastors came out, it's like, we're not ready for the reveal that's about to happen. And granted, this may just be the precursor to kind of dip our toes in the water, get us, feeling the alien vibe, the extraterrestrial vibe. And then they, boom, come out with a full-fledged interrogation video of them talking to one of these biologics that allegedly Matt Gaetz, former congressman, said that there are forced breeding programs between aliens, non-human entities, and humans. So
yes, and that it's going to cause a major faith crisis. And let me show you what's going to cause a faith crisis for members of the church. They just released that UFO image that they said was going to destroy our faith.
Oh, Galatians 1:8.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, man.
Even if another angel comes with a different gospel.
Yeah, exactly.
Do not believe it. The classic catch-all when it comes
Thanks
to
for the meme, Brigham Burner.
the restoration. I love that one. So, look, I'm not trying to be all like pessimistic about this. All I'm saying, and if you watched our video from the other day, kind of my thoughts on this of how it's, look, we've got a whole lot of things right now that are happening that are not very popular at all with, Trump's voter base, which is going and getting involved in another, Middle Eastern conflict. And also, no one has been held accountable at all in the slightest for the Epstein files. And it's looking like that's not going to happen, being that he personally didn't want them released in the first place. There's actually a great interview with Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about that. But I don't know. I mean, I guess it's kind of cool. They have a couple dozen videos of these spherical objects, moving in erratic patterns with infrared camera. But
Jackson, wait. They're still releasing files over the next coming months, I believe, over the next 30 to 60 days. And Tim Burchett just said that the holy crap moment is yet to come with these files. So let me ask you, and I'm actually being serious here.
Okay.
What would it take for you to actually stop in your tracks and be like, this is crazy?
It's just so hard nowadays, especially because of AI videos and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so tough. Can we believe anything that we see, especially when it comes, if you go back to that
yeah, wait, seriously, that picture
image
that you showed me, that was my first time
seeing. This is on the front page.
Where is that one?
Keep going through.
Let me switch for. Yeah,
okay,
right here.
There. This is an image that they're saying was captured on a camera.
Actual site photo with FBI lab rendered graphic overlay depicting corroborating. Okay, so it says there's a graphic overlay depicting what people said they saw.
Oh, okay.
And it's just a really bad Photoshop job by an intern there at the government. that makes it so hard to take them seriously. I mean, I guess if this was photoshopped back in, well, it says 2024 composite sketch.
So here's the thing. It's like, okay, this is the depiction of what people said they saw. It's like, oh, okay. I don't know. So to answer your question, Brando, I don't know. I think one of these non-human biologics that they're claiming is from this interdimensional place, these interdimensional beings hopping on a live stream.
And being like,
yeah. Maybe that. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I don't know. It's just frustrating.
Same for me.
Let me know. You guys take a look, go through it, go to war.gov and /UFO and tell me what you think. Is there anything of noteworthy that we should be paying attention to this and spending time, just as they are spending massive amounts of time sifting through all this stuff, scanning it, and then putting it on the internet? Is there more productive things that could be done, or, is this of top importance?
And if there is a holy crap moment, you'll make sure you know that we'll cover it.
Yeah.
All right.
But moving on to our second featured story, okay? And I'm loving, and we're going to capstone this segment with an awesome video by David A. Bednar that he released in regards to COVID. And I think it's so based, it's amazing, and kind of gives me a huge perspective on any future alleged pandemics, right? And we're actually in the midst of one right now. If you didn't know, have you ever heard of the Hantavirus before all of this craziness? I haven't. I hadn't.
Never heard of it before.
Okay. So basically what happened was 4 days ago, there was a release made on the World Health Organization. Remember those guys? How intelligent they were during COVID and all of the amazing directives that they gave us during those many years of, very, very warranted distress.
Unparalleled competency.
Exactly. Unprecedented competency.
Even, yes.
And so they posted this called under disease outbreak news, and it says Hantavirus cluster linked to cruise ship travel multi-country. That's kind of concerning. So let's read this paragraph they got. It says, on May 2nd, 2026, a cluster of passengers with severe respiratory illness aboard a cruise ship was reported to the World Health Organization. The ship is carrying 147 passengers and crew as of the 4th of May. 7 cases, 2 laboratory confirmed cases of hantavirus, and 5 suspected cases have been identified, including 3 deaths. 1 critically ill patient and 3 individuals reporting mild symptoms. Illness onset occurred between 6 and 28 April 2026 and was characterized by fever, gastrointestinal symptoms, rapid progression to pneumonia, acute respiratory distress syndrome, and shock. Further investigations are ongoing. The outbreak is being managed through coordinated international response and includes in-depth investigations, case isolation and care, medical evacuation, and laboratory investigations. And then basically explains what hantavirus actually is. It says human hantavirus infection is primarily acquired through contact with the urine, feces, and saliva of infected rodents. Oh. It is a rare but severe disease that can be deadly. Although uncommon, limited human-to-human transmission has been reported in previous outbreaks of Andes virus. It's a species of hantavirus. It says World Health Organization currently assesses the risk to the global population from this event as low and will continue to monitor the epidemiological situation and update the risk assessment. So they dropped this 4 days ago, and it's like, that's interesting. 7 cases, 2 laboratory confirmed, 5 suspected, and 3 deaths.
This is how it started before.
And remember, they were tweeting that coronavirus is not passed human to human.
Yeah, they really did tweet that. That tweet is still up currently right now.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, look, I don't know. Are we at the start of something interesting? Who knows? If we click this next link here, I just want to highlight one interesting thing that it says in this. So if you want to play this video, I'll tell you when to stop it. But it's basically something that they posted talking about the hantavirus. And there's no actually audio on this, so you don't need to worry about that, Brendo. But just hit play, and I'll tell you when to stop. But this is basically telling you the stuff that you need to know about the hantavirus. But one thing interesting about this, it says, early symptoms often feel like many other common illnesses. When people do get sick, symptoms usually begin 1 to 8 weeks after exposure.
That's a long time.
Exactly. So if we're talking, it can take 8 weeks after exposure, but supposedly, I mean, I guess in the instance of this cruise ship, it took less than that, unless this is a massive long cruise. But I don't know, kind of concerning, especially when you look back to how they dealt with COVID. They're like, you could have symptoms, but it takes 2 weeks, so you need to quarantine for at least a month, right? And to stop the spread, right? And so there's a couple of troubling things with this that I don't know, but some encouraging things, at least in the beginning, are being said about the Hantavirus from the World Health Organization. This is a representative from the WHO, and let's listen to what she has to say.
This is not coronavirus. This is a very different virus. We know this virus. Hantaviruses have been around for quite a while. There's a lot of detail that we know. I'm going to ask Anais to come in and say this, but I want to be unequivocal here. This is not SARS-CoV-2. This is not the start of a COVID pandemic. This is an outbreak that we see on a ship. There's a confined area. We have 5 confirmed cases so far. We completely understand why these questions are coming, and we are trying to provide all of the information that we can. That's why we're having a press conference here to give accurate information, and we're grateful for all of those out there who are asking these types of questions. But this is not the same situation we were in 6 years ago. It doesn't spread the same way like coronaviruses do. It's very different. It's that close, intimate contact that we've seen. And most hantaviruses don't transmit between people at all. Most hantaviruses are transmitted from rodents or their feces or their saliva, or droppings, to people. And only this one particular virus, the Andes virus, which has been identified here, we've seen some human-to-human transmission. And again, I want to reiterate, the actions that are being taken on board are precautionary to prevent any onward spread. And so there's a lot that is being done right now to be able to try to minimize the risk even further. But I do want Anais to come in and provide a little bit. No? Okay. Oh, okay.
She's like, nah.
She's like, I don't want to comment.
So if this is true, then the real virus is the spread of misinformation on social media, and causing just this mass hysteria. If this is true, what she's saying, right? Yeah. Like, and so just freaking out a little bit.
Yeah. Again, this is kind of how it started before, right? The World Health Organization came out with a tweet and said that, hey, coronavirus need not fear because it is not passable human to human.
And you know what's funny is I don't know how any of that was because I was on my mission and I wasn't hearing about any of it until I was told to quarantine pretty much.
Yeah.
I remember a missionary saying, hey, there's this thing going around that came from bats. And I was like, oh. And then I was like, yeah. And then I got quarantined like a month later.
Yeah.
For the rest of my mission, pretty much.
Anyways, and so who knows if this is the start of something crazy. Obviously, people are going wild online talking about all the, ways that this is a conspiracy. And honestly, some of the conspiratorial posts are fun to look into. So we have what the World Health Organization is saying. I hope you understand now what hantavirus is and how it's usually passed and contracted, right? Hopefully it's not some pandemic thing, but may God have mercy on those people on the boat. If 3 people have actually died from this virus, of the 7 that have gotten it, hopefully
not looking good.
Yeah, hopefully they'll be all right. But then you have this tweet from a guy named Soothsayer. I am a soothsayer. Okay, if you don't know what that is in the Bible, it is basically a seer, future seer, fortune teller.
Yes, future. Yeah.
Exactly, a soothsayer. And so then allegedly, okay, and I don't know if there's a way to fake this, okay? I don't know if there's a way to fake this. Grok says no, but allegedly in June of 2022, this account, Soothsayer, says 2023, Corona ended. 2026, Hantavirus. And then someone comments underneath, can you explain how this post is possible? And then Grok says, that 2022 post nailed the timing, 2023, blah, blah. Right now in May 2026, WHO is reporting a hantavirus cluster on the cruise ship, 3 deaths. Just a spooky coincidence, not prophecy. Hantavirus is real but rare and not person to person in most strains. Okay.
Yeah.
So
wow, that's insane.
We have this post, and then the next one, if you click the next one.
This one's a little bit
weirder. Jason the Germ Guy, Tetro, Canadian. All right, so we'll have to take this with a massive grain of salt, okay? Just kidding, we love our Canadians. But he says, back in 2012, he says, overheard behind me while watching H5N1 NAS workshop today, you want to really make a pandemic, make hantavirus human transmissible. So, who knows? Who knows, right? And then the last one we'll show you, but we actually won't show you because we don't want to get a copyright strike. But back in 1998, there was an episode of the X-Files that basically lays out this exact scenario of basically creating a pandemic through the hantavirus and describing exactly what could possibly play out here. So looking into a few of these conspiratorial posts and things like this is kind of fun and interesting, but I don't think that at least I pray that the public won't be gullible enough to fall for the same type of tactics in another alleged global pandemic that is a deathly virus, right?
Oh, yeah. Like if from the top down they're telling us to wear masks again or 6 feet social distancing, stuff like that. I just don't think people are going to, fall for it is probably the right term. At first it seemed like that was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But then as it evolved, it was clear that those were measures that were just not helpful at all.
Yeah.
Yet they kept continuing to push it and kept threatening that you'll lose your job and things like that. And that's what really ticked people off.
Yeah. And not to say it's not possible that some sort of massive outbreak that is like the Black Plague affects the world, right?
Yeah.
But I think at the beginning of COVID, it was kind of the fear of the unknown. And then once we kind of got a grasp of the actual situation at hand, and then they kept pushing these unreasonable policies and things like that, that's when and then the false thing about the bat, this was from a bat in a cave. And then we know it was actually from gain of function research in the Wuhan lab that Dr. Fauci was involved in. Okay, there's a ton of documented evidence on this. This isn't some crazy rigging QAnon conspiracy theory. So if there does happen to be some sort of similar situation like COVID that happens, I would hope that the reaction of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, at least, is similar to the sentiment that is being expressed here from David A. Bednar. Now, this video was released in July of 2020, and we're just going to go ahead and play it, and then we'll talk about it here. But take it away, David.
Drawing proper lines to protect both public health and religious exercise in a pandemic is very challenging. But we cannot deny, and we should not forget, the speed and intensity with which government power was used to shut down fundamental aspects of religious exercise. These decisions and regulations were unprecedented. The right to gather lies at the very heart of religious freedom. For nearly 2 months, Americans and many others throughout the free world learned firsthand what it means for government to directly prohibit the free exercise of religion. Never again must the fundamental right to worship be trivialized below the ability to buy gasoline.
Okay.
I've never seen that before, bro. That's
You
so
haven't?
true. No, I never saw that when I was on my. And that's so true. The first thing that happened was I was not able to go to church in the ward that I was serving in, and then we couldn't gather for YSA activities and stuff like that. I could still go to the store and stuff, but then it was. That is such a baller video, bro.
Yeah, well, it's incredible to hear. He says, never again may the right to worship be trivialized over the
price of gas.
The ability to get gasoline.
Sorry, the ability to get
gas. Yeah, and there was other things that were deemed essential businesses like liquor stores and things like that, where those remained open, but we couldn't go to church on Sunday. And so I'm so curious if there was another COVID type situation, because he said, never again must the right to worship be trivialized over the ability to get gasoline. If there was, what would be the reaction of the church? If the government said, hey, you guys can't meet, would we still be able to go meet? Would they still be like, hey, nah, go meet. You guys have the right to worship, okay?
That would be an interesting case study. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, super based from Elder Bednar here, I'm just curious of how it would play out if the situation arises again. because he says never again. And so that kind of sounds like never again. But we'll link the whole video. The whole video is great, actually. And so we'll link the whole video in the description. But let us know what you guys think, okay? Are you ready for another pandemic?
Are we in a simulation? Are people predicting things?
Do they? Yeah. Is the soothsayer a real soothsayer? That's a great question, but I'm not too worried about it. What I am worried about, okay? What I am worried about is this, what we're going to finish off our episode with today, is just like we talked about the data centers yesterday, this is one of the uses in which those data centers are going to be kind of being used for. And so we have this video that came out. This guy allegedly has this AI system that he fed it thousands and thousands of manuscripts going all the way back to 3000 BC. And then he asked it the question, what is the percentage that chance that Mormonism is true? So let's watch this video.
An AI brain looks like when you fed it over 100,000 manuscripts that go back as far as 3000 BCE. Now, someone actually had me ask it a simple question: how much of Mormonism is truth? And on a scale of 1 to 100%, it got scored a 2%. I will copy and paste this reasoning in the description. Let me know what I should ask it next. This is what an AI brain...
So, an AI brain, that's what he said. This is what an AI brain looks like after feeding it over 100,000 manuscript dating back to all the way 3000 BC, okay? And so, obviously, AI is God now for a lot of people, and we see this in this instance, but he kind of doubles down on how this is actually the source of truth and not your own process of learning and seeking truth. He did a follow-up video right after this, and he did the same thing for Islam. But then pay attention to what he says right after he shows you the percentage for Islam.
And I'll tell you what, I have a huge surprise for you in my next video. And another thing, like, I'm reading some of my comments. Like, you actually think that your opinion can outweigh an AI that just analyzed over 100,000 books that go back as far as 3000 BCE. Okay, let's just be real. You've probably read, like, what, a few books, maybe one religious book. Okay, the system cross-referenced entire civilizations, patterns, contradictions, symbolism, timelines. Okay, so when it's saying 2 or 3%, that's not bias. Okay, that's pattern alignment across thousands of sources. Okay, you're reading to believe, it's reading to verify. Okay, you don't have to like the result, but thinking that you're smarter than something that just processed more knowledge than you ever will in your entire lifetime, like, there's something mentally or cognitively wrong with you.
Gosh, okay.
This is how a lot of people actually think, okay? AI is becoming literally God to them, okay? Because you give it all the information, you ask it the question, oh, it says 2%, well, I guess moving on. Right? And so it's just so concerning to me because it's exactly what is being laid out in front of us in the scriptures. In that 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse, that it says that men in the last days will be ever learning, but never coming to a knowledge of that which is true.
Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof.
Exactly.
And what does power include? Power includes things like faith. AI cannot have faith.
Yes.
The people in the comments have faith. They have faith-building experiences in their life. They have knowledge. They have testimony. Mm-hmm. The AI cannot have that.
Mm-hmm. And so I recognize that when trying to gain a spiritual understanding of things, whether it be, does God actually exist? Did he send his son Jesus Christ to atone for our sins? Can we, make it back to them? And all these other spiritual claims. There is an academic aspect to that process, right? Reading, pondering, going through the actual text and things like that. But ultimately, getting on your knees in prayer and trying to seek out a spiritual experience with your maker. That is not a process that this artificial intelligence, this AI brain, like he's saying, is going through, right? He then trivializes it by saying, oh, you're reading to believe, AI is reading to understand, right? To actually learn and analyze all the things. And so what's so troubling to me about all this is, I think with the growing generation of how used they are to getting to
like instant gratification and stuff.
Yes, and seeking answers through AI, asking chat, asking Grok, all these things, that I think it's just going to move closer and closer and closer to people giving more credence to this lifeless, soulless robot than actually going through not just the academic process of understanding spiritual claims and coming to a knowledge of the truth, but then following through with the spiritual side of it, which is pretty much the most important part when you're dealing with spiritual claims, is using spiritual means like prayer, okay, and seeking out the Spirit of God. And so, look, if your AI brain that you've fed over 100,000 manuscripts and they go back to 3000 BC, says 2%, like that pretty much means nothing to me, bro. That means nothing, because then you go in and you're like, you think your opinion actually outweighs this AI? You're dumb. There's something mentally and cognitively wrong with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And you might say that, oh, this is just us coping with that 2%. Like, oh, that 2% actually scares us, so we're trying to cope by saying it's faith. Well, no, the whole gospel of Jesus Christ is built on faith, even for Christians, especially for Christians. And we're all Christians. The Bible, believing in the Bible takes faith. Believing in Jesus Christ's miracles takes faith. Believing in the prophet Moses and Abraham and Isaac and all the strange things that happen in the Old Testament, it takes faith. And so this is kind of a jab at the majority of Christianity too. So there's no one should give any credence to it. It's not a cope, because if you truly understand the gospel of Jesus Christ, you understand that it is built on faith in the Lord Jesus Christ, and God would not allow something like AI to replace that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, look, not super surprised that this is kind of the direction people are moving, and it's all written in the scriptures. And so, anyways, tell me what you guys think in the comments, huh? Is it higher than 2%? I think it's a little higher than 2%. All right, click this next, what's this next one that we got? Oh, we forgot to show you. They actually got a handle on the CCTV imagery and footage from the kitchen on the cruise ship where the hantavirus is being spread. And mind you, remember, rodents are oftentimes the source of the hantavirus, but this is actual footage they got from the kitchen on the cruise ship, and they think it might have something to do with this outbreak.
What a great movie, bro.
Ratatouille is phenomenal. It is so phenomenal. But anyways, that was a joke. Hope you like that. All right, moving on to our comments section. We love you guys engaging in the comments, and we love kind of going over some of our favorites from the previous day's episode. And a few of them that I wanted to read to you guys that were particularly intriguing for me was this first one from, I want to say, Saffarelli. 5'4". Sapphire Lily. Yeah. There we go. Saffarelli. They say, as someone from Box Elder County, I can tell you that the people here are overwhelmingly against this. Governor Cox does not seem to care about what people here want, and we do not want a data center or a nuclear power plant. It's frustrating to have someone in power make decisions for your area when you are not, when he will not be the one living with the impact of it all. No, he's going to be affected just as much as you are in Box Elder, okay? Don't say something so ignorant like that.
This is why Hayden said the other day, we need to be better about going to our local, being involved in our local politics.
I know, but it's just like, I just don't want to. I need to repent, maybe.
I know.
But anyways, we have the King. We love you, King. Always seeing you in the chat. He says, the context of what Jackson is saying, Provo is 30,000 acres, Salt Lake City is 49,000 acres. Logan is 10,000 acres. St. George is 49,000 acres. So when we're talking about a 40,000 acre plot of land that's going to be covered with a data center, it's massive.
That really
it's
puts
massive.
it into perspective. Yeah, holy.
It does. All right, this next one is from Amanda 6 Roots. And this was actually super interesting. She says, I'm in Corpus Christi, Texas, and we're the first city ever in the history of the country to literally run out of water. And it's because of the refineries and brand new data center that our city approved. The data center here uses millions of gallons of water per day to cool all of the computers inside and completely emptied the lake that is our only water source. And no, they do not recycle the water. Our city will literally be out of water by September with no solid plan on how we will have water for us. Residents, like we have no water for our homes because we have no other source to draw from. They are placing mandatory restrictions on us to only use 5,200 gallons of water a month. If you go over, it's a $500 fine and possible misdemeanor. But don't worry, the data center and the refineries have no restrictions or fines on any water usage whatsoever. We are living proof that it will not end well for y'all up there if this data center goes on. They'll prioritize it over citizens because your local government officials will get the kickbacks to keep it up and running. Wow.
It's terrifying, man.
It's not encouraging at all in the slightest, I'll be honest, because like we said, this is just moving towards prioritizing fueling the machines instead of the actual human being living souls that are in the state of Utah.
Does the government think they're just conditioning us to accept being pretty much like slaves?
I don't know.
Totalitarian, man.
Let's pray for Corpus Christi, Texas. This is insane. Okay, we'll have to do some more digging on that. But thank you for sharing that, Amanda. This last one I want to read is I want to call out Nick Shirley, bro, because he says, Ed Scherner says, where is Nick Shirley when you need him? I hope he comes back to Utah and investigates the fraud going on with Governor Cox and this data center. Alleged fraud is what I'll say. But yeah, Nick, come back to your hometown, bro. You're going all over to these other places. We need some work done here in Utah, dude. Okay.
Probably be safer here than in Cuba, bro.
Probably. And it's more of an impact to the people you love and the places you grew up. So come on down, help us out here. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, hope you have a phenomenal weekend. And remember, until next time, if you're not looking at the world through a restored gospel lens, you're only getting half the story. God bless you.